Okay.
What was this place?
A holographic theater.
CD01 data intact. Initiating playback.
Welcome to Project Zero Dawn. I am General Harris, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States of America. I'm sure you've heard the rumors that Zero Dawn is a top-secret superweapons program, the technological miracle that will save us from the Pharaoh Plague, if Operation Enduring Victory can hold off the robots long enough. The reason I'm sure you've heard the rumors is that I'm the one who spread them, and they are all lies.
Yeah.
Zero Dawn is not a superweapons program, and it will not save us. Nothing will save us. And here's why. By the time the glitch was noticed, it was already too late. Nothing could stop the Pharaoh Plague. Nothing can. Its robots will continue to replicate and devour the biosphere. Life on Earth will be destroyed. Our planet reduced to a barren sphere. Global extinction is inevitable. No matter how many we kill, the robots just keep exponentially making more. If we had their deactivation codes, we could shut them all down, the entire swarm. But since their cryptographic protocols use polyphasic entangled waveforms, cracking a code set would take half a century. At best, we've got 16 months. Not exactly what you'd call a survival option. The destruction of a biosphere is not the sort of apocalypse you can wait out in a fallout shelter or a space station. There will be no Earth left to reclaim. Just a lifeless, toxic rock with several million Pharaoh robots on it, hibernating, waiting for something to eat. This is the horrible truth behind the lies of Operation Enduring Victory. My lies. Lies designed to inspire millions of innocents to sacrifice themselves in battle. Why? One reason. To buy time for you and the work you will do here. Zero Day, the day that life on Earth ceases to exist, is coming fast. It cannot be stopped. The hope of Zero Dawn is that something new might come after. But I will leave it to Elisabet Sobeck to shine that thin ray of light into the darkness. Harris, out.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Life on Earth didn't cease to exist.
Yeah.
He said it could not be stopped.
But it was. Somehow Elisabet saved us. I've got to keep looking. Find out how she did it.
Yeah, okay. So in my head, the pieces are starting to fall into place now, because we have the whole kind of spaceship thing with all the embryos and all that kind of stuff. And from the start of the game, I have been curious about, like, the geography looks very familiar on the one hand, and on the other hand, it's not. Like, there is not a place on planet Earth that looks like this. Now, obviously, you could argue maybe it's a result of what the machines have done to the Earth, like, biologically, but I don't think that could be right. So I've always been thinking, is this some kind of shrunken down continental region that covers like lots of different geographies, or is this like totally some other deal? So I think what we're seeing here is that we're not actually on Earth, and that what you would have thought happened, which was kind of the robots left Earth maybe, and eventually kind of life started to re-emerge, so some portion of humanity survived and we got going again. That doesn't look like what happened. It looks like this might actually be a different planet. So even when I was looking up at the stars, I was like, I think there's one point where I asked if a particular thing in the sky was Andromeda Galaxy or something, because are we even in the same solar system? Are we in the same galaxy, etc.? So it's all very, very interesting. Now, I think I saw a data point appear, but I don't remember what it was called. Yeah, I think the data point it was showing me was like the fact that they have like this version of it available as well. Okay. So the fact that it wasn't a super weapon was not a surprise, but the fact that we might not be on Earth right now is definitely a much bigger surprise.
Kestrels. They got in. Through the vents.
Fuck, you know.
Let nothing stop you from learning the truth.
Spread out!
Oh,
If
boy.
it moves, kill it!
What is this place? Tomb?
Man, you guys are so far out of your depth. Just let me handle it. Let me do my thing. MGS vent vibes.
On me!
Oh wow.
Play this, crush the enemy!
That was not good. I always forget that I don't have the leader strike thing.
We're too close to the tribal primitives stop us now.
Yeah.
The data points, what did they contain?
Don't worry, we're gonna have a look. That was always gonna end badly. Right, let's have a look at them data points. Right, we've got an audio one here as well. Good. Okay, so you can imagine why it might be a bit traumatic for the people that have ended up here. Right, for debriefing after presentation 1. Candidates must be allowed to ask questions and be given the necessary time to fully absorb the information they have received. It is important to be aware that candidates have just been exposed to triggers for severe mental and emotional trauma. Do not assume silence or outward calmness indicates acceptance. It is essential to stress that all other options for combating the Pharaoh Plague and preserving the continuation of human life have been considered and found unworkable. Communicate this fact calmly, but clearly and firmly. Familiarize yourself with data on the catastrophic environmental impact of nuclear engagements versus the Swarm Addendum B1 and unfeasibility of maintaining life in orbital, lunar or undersea structures Addenda C1, C2, C3 so that you can counter candidates' objections in depth. If a candidate asks for time alone to review supplementary information, allow this without hesitation. Be sure to inform security personnel so that the candidate can be monitored for attempts at self-harm. Candidates should only be cleared to proceed to presentation 2 if you believe their mental state is sufficiently stable. Note that real-time support will be available via your focus. Security and medical crisis teams are data corrupted. I mean, it must be a hell of a pill to swallow, coming in here thinking that there's still hope for humanity and that you're going to be part of like some, you know, super weapon solution that's going to wipe out the machines, and then you get told that and it's like, oh.
Look, let's cut the mystery. You're building a colony ship. It's obvious. And it's not gonna fly. I mean, literally. Remember the Odyssey? That multinational heap of space junk that's been in graveyard orbit since 57? That went nowhere real slow. And you have to get somewhere real fast. Do you have any idea the immensity of the challenge to prep a new colony ship in time?
To be clear, I'm not a worker on the project.
Do you even understand how few people it could save? The whole generation ship concept is not gonna happen. It's the first thing you'd abandon in favor of embryonics. For that kind of storage, we're talking a lot of bulk, a lot of power, a lot of resources. So even if you do it, even if you build it and point it at Sirius X, there's no room for people on that thing, all right?
If you could try to remain calm.
You people are crazy if you think you're getting off this rock. No one's getting off.
Medical.
Yeah, I mean, they're absolutely right, and I guess this plan if it really does play out the way they intended it to, is basically saying, well, I think I remember a data point or like a story thing where there was like, there's only going to be a very small number of people on the ship itself. So they're literally going to be the only living people that's going to make it out of this situation. And you're entrusting the entirety of humanity into the hands of, like, let's say 50 people. And whatever embryos and zygotes, whatever hell you got on that ship. And that's literally it, because everyone else is going to get wiped out. So it's pretty insane. Whoops.
With Suzanne Alpert, environmental scientist. Doctor?
I'm sorry, I wasn't,
Just stating your name. What were you thinking about, Doctor?
Nothing the General said, not really. I was on the Syzygy East Response Team in 2051, just after the second earthquake compromised the reactor. I still dream about it after all these years. The red zone spreading on the imaging, slowly, so slowly, like a hand opening its fingers.
Your involvement in that event is why you were asked for by name.
Really? That's interesting. Because nothing worked. Nothing could grow there again. It was a catastrophic failure. But the red zone is a blip compared to global-scale biomass reduction. The biosphere and hydrosphere will collapse, render the Earth uninhabitable long before the robots finish us. Enduring victory can't buy time against that. So, you'd better show me what Zero Dawn really is.
Right. I mean, I can only assume that it's a situation where you literally get the greatest minds of humanity, you clone their embryos, so that if you are going to start a new civilization, you might as well start it and develop it with the brains that are going to go on to kind of make civilization quote-unquote great again. So it sounds like that's why they've tried to recruit as many of these like scientists and these kind of people as possible to rebuild the next civilization on a different world.
I'm sure you now understand the urgency of why we brought you here, Ms. Okilo.
Captain Okilo, are you trying to thank me for not resisting?
I believe we couldn't negotiate a diplomatic solution.
When it came to my country's lithium, it was always a swarm that would be sent to negotiate. Metallurgic International, U.S. Robot Command. The markings changed, but the robots were the same.
You have had considerable experience in human-robot conflict.
Yes, and I've got the prosthetic limbs to show it. Yet I continue to face this horror, even though the challenge was great. Cyber warfare. I thought Zero Dawn would be a Manhattan project to generate the deactivation codes. With the resources I had, I estimated code breaking to be a hopeless endeavor. I was almost looking forward to being proved wrong.
Unfortunately, your estimation was correct.
As your General Hera said. So then, you did not bring me here to commiserate. What is left?
It is accurate, yes.
So these mechanical monstrosities, they don't just kill people. They feed off them?
Not just people. All organic matter.
Every living thing dissolved into nutrients. Millennia of evolution liquefied. The miracle of life produced some bloody biofuel.
In a word, yes.
Who did this? Pharaoh? That arsehole. Is he here?
No, Doctor.
Please, tell him Tom Pake wants a word. Now, get off! Get off! Doctor, please! You get Ted Pharaoh in here!
Oh man. Bloody biofuel there.
Want to discuss?
Whew. So Mama, she was right.
Pardon?
My mother, she took her Bible real serious. Not just Texas Bible serious, Pentecostal serious. Favorite chapter? Revelations. Now, I didn't always understand her on account of all that speaking in tongues and such, but when she did use her words, there was always end times this and lake of fire that on account of sinful lifestyles. Speaking of which, mind if I smoke?
A tobacco cigarette.
Sorry, darling. My taste run classic. Compliments your team tracked me down. Been a price on my head 18 months now. Sterling Malkeet was me, don't mind admitting. Been plenty of snakesters chasing the bounty too. But I kept the zigging to their zag. How'd you finger me?
I believe Dr. Sobeck listed you as an alpha candidate. Priority snatch and grab.
Wow.
Always suspected she had a little thing for me. Hey, I don't suppose you got real coffee in this place. You know, blood coffee? Conflict cappuccinos?
Mr. Tate, I'm clearing you to proceed. Just go.
He's got that John Dillinger vibe. They've got people from everywhere.
I think there is some mistake. I don't understand why I was brought here. Why would you show me these things?
I know that there's already a lot to take in.
In the waiting area, I was seated with a Nobel laureate in biophysics and a monk, I think. He spoke neither English nor Mandarin. It is very strange. And General Harris? What was he talking about? The robot swarm? The pharaoh plague? I understand it is terrible. But it really cannot be stopped? Why tell us this? There are people in Shanghai, my friends, my family. They have joined Operation Enduring Victory already. It is for nothing? We will all die?
We're going to be able to answer some of these questions.
I just want to know why I am here. It doesn't make sense to me.
You were brought here because of your skill set.
No, that can't be right. I am an art historian.
Of course.
I know Dutch masters, Japanese calligraphy, Gerhard Richter. What does that matter now?
It matters more than you could imagine.
You previously worked for Pharaoh Automated Systems.
On the chariot line self-replication routines. I came here thinking this was a rendition. When your people took me, I thought, about time. I've been trying to swallow the guilt every day since...
Would you like to take a moment?
No, I really hoped Zero Dawn was a way to undo it all. My work. And I'm sorry to say I was ever proud of it, but Ted could really sell a concept, and in the labs, in the light of creation, that first test run, when you saw they understood their own structures, could rebuild themselves from memory and light, there were no limits. God, there were no limits.
Yeah. So I guess that's a bit of an insight into how they just went so far down the rabbit hole with these machines that it all collapsing on itself eventually. Okay, I think I'm done with this room and all the data points within it, so let's move on to presentation 2, I think.
CD02
Here we go.
intact. Initiating playback.
Elisabet Sobeck.
You've heard the bad news, and it's all true. The Pharaoh Plague is devouring the biosphere. Life itself will cease to exist. But does that have to be the end? What if we could give life a future? What if we could build a kind of seed from which, on a dead planet, life could blossom anew? This is the aim, the hope, of Project Zero Dawn. To create a super-intelligent, fully automated terraforming system and bring life back from lifelessness. What would such a system require? At its core, it would need a true AI, fully capable of making the trillions of decisions necessary to reconstitute the biosphere. An immortal guardian, devoted to the reflourishing of life. We call it Gaia. Mother Nature as an AI. But that's just the core of the system. She will need to be surrounded and empowered by a comprehensive suite of subordinate functions. Think of them as extensions of Gaia's mind, each dedicated to a specific purpose. Now, these aren't AIs, but make no mistake. Each presents an engineering challenge more profound than anything the human species has ever before attempted. Hardware that preserves and then gestates the billions of seeds and embryos from which life will be reborn. The construction of underground facilities to hold it all. And that's just the start. We don't have to build the entire system. The beauty of a fully automated terraforming system is that it can build itself. Now, over the days to come, you'll learn how all these functions, all these pieces that you'll be working on, fit together. How we'll race the clock to execute our harvest initiatives, write the software, build the tech and the facilities. How we'll lock it down and seal it up before the inevitable occurs. But even more important, you'll know how it doesn't end here. How Gaia will generate those deactivation codes General Harris talked about, and build the transmission arrays to broadcast them, shutting down the Pharaoh robots for good. How Gaia will not just build, but imagine any conceivable robot it needs to do its work across centuries. From detoxifying the Earth's ravaged atmosphere and poisoned seas, to the regreening of the Earth from cryopreserved seed stocks, to rewilding the Earth with animal life. And then, when all that is done, how a new generation of human beings, spawned at cradle facilities around the globe, will partake of Apollo, the vast archive of human knowledge and cultural achievement from which they will learn of us, our world. And most important, how not to repeat our mistakes. It's not an impossible dream. It is within our grasp if we work tirelessly and stop at nothing to achieve it. We can't stop life from ending. But if you will help me, help Gaia, we can give it a future. Join me and help make that future real.
Whole Earth destroyed, but then remade?
Yes. By a machine. A machine of creation.
Elisabet did this. For life. For us. But why Hades then? If it was part of Gaia, how did it end up in the wreckage of a Pharaoh robot? Why does it want to kill me? And Apollo...
Yeah, that was my question.
The archive of knowledge, what happened to that?
I'm as confused as you are. Maybe the answers lie ahead.
Well, goddamn, that is a very, very elaborate plan. And I guess it flip-flops again, and now we're back to the whole, okay, so we're not on a different planet. That was like a little theory, and I guess that's been kind of debunked now that this whole system has been explained. So yes, I guess we are still on Earth, but that is a hell of a elaborate and very outlandish plan. I have no idea how they managed to execute it, but I guess considering how big the goal was, I still think they did a pretty damn good job. But what about the whole spaceship thing? I assume that, I mean, this made it sound like they're going to have the embryos kind of in those caves or whatever. So, I don't know. Need to listen to more data logs. Ah, it's a thingy one. Oh boy, here we go. Okay. Now, you are now in possession of information regarding the true nature and purpose of Project Zero Dawn, classified far above top secret. As such, we regret to inform you that you cannot be allowed to leave this facility. There are 3 options available to you at this point. Please consider each carefully. Trained counselors are standing by to assist you in making your choice. I kind of wish that, again, this should have been kind of told to us, but fine. 1. Participation. You will be assigned to a sub-project team based on your area of expertise. You should be aware that the way forward will be difficult and the project's outcome is uncertain. You will be expected to work a minimum of 80 hours per week, and your communications with family members will be strictly limited and monitored in real time. Upon successful completion of the project, you and your immediate family, 2 persons of your choosing, will be transferred to the Elysium sealed habitat to live out the remainder of your natural lives. Interesting. Indefinite detention. If you choose to decline participation in Project Zero Dawn, you will be confined indefinitely. You will be given 48 hours to reconsider, after which your decision to refuse participation will be considered irrevocable. Every reasonable effort will be made to make your term of confinement as comfortable as possible, but you will not be permitted to contact with the outside world, and death within 18 months due to the Pharaoh Plague is inevitable. When the Zero Dawn facility is abandoned, detainees who wish not to opt for medical euthanasia will be released. 3. Medical euthanasia. The information you have just received understandably calls into question the purpose of continuing to live. If you would prefer to end your life at this point, pain-free medical euthanasia is available. A 48-hour waiting period is required, during which time you may instead opt for participation or confinement. Please notify a counsellor when you are ready to make your choice, or if you have further questions. Ooh. Wow. Just lay all of that insane information on them. And then be like, yeah, so you want to die now? That's pretty insane. I mean, I feel like death solves nothing at this point, so you might as well try to be a part of the solution and just see what happens, really. I mean, what do you have to lose at this stage? You can't leave. What's done is done. Okay. Sip of water for me. Okay, here we go. It is vitally important that candidates choose to participate in Project Zero Dawn voluntarily and knowingly, without additional coercion and without value judgment on the part of the counsellor. Confirm for candidates that they were selected due to their skill sets and accomplishments. Emphasize that their dedicated participation in Zero Dawn will increase the project's chances of success. Frame participation in Zero Dawn as an opportunity to respond actively in the face of an overwhelming threat. Candidates may question the fairness of their selection. Validate such objections as normal, even admirable responses. Emphasize the value of candidates' expertise to the future, not just of humanity, but terrestrial life as a whole. Likewise, candidates may balk at the morality of extending their lifespans and those of loved ones beyond 0 day. Validate their hesitation. Acknowledge that, while the reward of Elysium is not fair, it will be earned. If possible, redirect their ethical misgivings towards greater commitment to the project. When candidates challenge the plausibility of Project Zero Dawn, permit them to review Dr. Sobeck's presentation as many times as they wish, and allow access to supplemental articles GO1 through P20. Allow them to suspend the interview to fully process this documentation. A significant minority of candidates will elect for medical euthanasia. It is important to receive this decision kindly and without judgment. Advise them of the 48-hour waiting period, during which counsellors will be available to discuss their decision. Emphasize that euthanasia will not occur without repeated consent when the procedure is scheduled to take place. No one will be euthanized against her or his will. Candidates who elect indefinite detention must be informed that they have 48 hours to reverse their decision, after which the decision data corrupted. It must have been a mess in here, seriously. And I wonder how many of these facilities there are. Like, how many does this place even hold? Here we go.
Of course I'll do it.
Passion. That really, just doing that cancels the entire thing. That's balls. Let's hear it.
Of course I'll do it. To be given the opportunity to rebuild what the damage that I don't feel worthy of it, but I will do it, absolutely.
I want to stress that this was never about your culpability.
It is to me. Dr. Sobeck, Margot, they were smart to get out of Pharaoh when they did, but not one of us took it as a warning sign. It just told ourselves that we're cut out for the BTRI cabals. That's the better than rapid innovation. A better at competing, better than the next guy, a better killing machine. It's just amazing how a century and a half of science fiction did nothing to swerve our species from the path of doom. I mean, I'm done with that life. I mean, I will work hard, twice as hard, to earn this, for my family to have a place in Elysium. I never thought that there could be atonement.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. I mean, I guess there's going to be so many different responses to this. So for someone like him, obviously he's on a redemption atonement kind of thing. Some people are going to be like, I absolutely don't deserve this. I don't want this. It's not fair.
These will keep.
I mean, I try to imagine myself here, and to be honest, I would probably be someone that's just kind of, I would accept that, I guess in a civilization this advanced, that's capable of doing what these guys are capable of doing, if they're telling me that there's literally no other way to save humanity, then I would probably, you know, you'd read the supplementary documents and that kind of stuff. I'd probably be convinced that this truly is the best chance we have as a species of kind of staying alive. So I think with all that in mind, I'd probably just try to get on board with it. I wouldn't try to kind of just let my emotions take over and just like euthanize myself and all that kind of stuff. I'd just be like, yeah, okay, man. I'd just be like, well, if humanity has a greater chance of continuing to exist in the future, if I'm on board with this project, then I should be on board with this project, because euthanasia at that stage I feel like is a bit of a, it doesn't really benefit anybody. It's a bit of a self-centered choice, I think, because you're of no benefit to no one if you let yourself be killed or if you refuse to participate. So I don't know, it's very easy to say now, but I guess if you turned up here and you had all of that information given to you, I don't think anyone can reliably say what they would do or how they'd react, because it's kind of impossible to fathom.